Can everybody hear me out there?
Yeah.
I'd like to call to order the Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees regular meeting. Today is Wednesday, December 13th, 2017. The time is 7:01. Please pay respects to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm going to apologize ahead of time if I've got postnasal drip, and if I start coughing, I'm going to go right out that door, put a lozenge in my throat, and hopefully I'll be back. But you'll be in good hands. We've got Treasurer Ferrari here to take over for me. But I will be back. Noting the roll.
Noted.
Approval of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the deletion of item 7A, 2017 budget amendment. I think, Chris, don't you have an addition to?
I have no additions.
No additions?
We have an addition, but the people in the audience might not know the addition. That was I've got Freedom of Information Act on mine.
Right, Chris?
That's already on mine.
The agenda was sent out Friday after the first one went out.
Sorry.
I want to make sure that everybody knows that Freedom of Information Act is now what it is, 9A, and if you have the old ones, all the other ones,
Move down.
all down. There was a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Was that with the addition,
No, with that deletion,
with that deletion?
yeah, because one was already changed.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Approved? It passes. Let's move on to the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Any other questions, deletions? Roll call.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Durf.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. Move on to public comment on items not on the agenda. Any public comments? Yes, sir.
Larry Brosner, I live at 1830 Cobblestone Lane, Oxford, Michigan, 48371. And I've discussed it before, where we certainly have a lot of property out in our area for sale, large lots and everything. And I don't see action to take and put ordinances in to protect that area. In other words, we're not addressing what can happen. Now, I don't need to see, or we certainly don't need to see some of the things that can come in there because there's ordinance, it's just pretty much open. We worry about how many trees we're going to plant in front of a house in a subdivision, but we don't have ordinances to do that. And I'll keep it very brief, but we need someone to address that. I just don't see action on that. It's like it doesn't exist. I've talked to my neighbors. They all feel the same way. I get the standard answer. I'm just wasting my time. You're going to do what you want to do, and it doesn't matter. So I don't think that's true. So there needs to be an emphasis put on some action in getting that done. Assign someone to do it. Certainly coming up, we don't need campgrounds. There's a lot of things we should be stating. Really, it should be dedicated to agriculture. And I did put in a complaint on the 24th. I've never heard anything back on it. So
What was the complaint?
I made copies. I'd like to, can I approach and give them to
Certainly can.
pass out? So you will take a copy.
Can I just look at it? I think it was.
Maybe the response got lost in the mail or whatever. That's entirely possible.
There was
All I
no,
can say.
I'm going to interrupt you, sir. I don't normally talk back and forth. I did look at this issue, and there is no problem with it. There is no issue. All those lots exceed 20 acres. I'm not going to argue with you. If you want to talk to me, you come into my office and we'll discuss it. But there is no issue there.
Did you, Mr. Dunn? I didn't.
I'm not talking, I'm not
I
going
didn't get
back
a
and forth.
response. I did not get a response. And
Well, you'll get one more if you want to come in. Any other public comment on items not on the agenda? Move on to the fire department. Pete, you want to?
Evening, board members. This evening, on the agenda before you, there's a proposal for us to purchase new power cots and lift system for our ambulances. The cots have a power lift system on them so that they can automatically hydraulically lift up, so we're actually not having to bend down and lift up the stretcher and picking it up. And then there's a separate component that goes actually in the back of the ambulance that gets bolted in, fastened in. It comes out at the back of the truck like a forklift. It actually comes underneath the cot, lifts the cot up when you get it next to the truck, and then pulls it back into the truck. One of the beauties of that system is the new SAE restrictions coming down since next year on any new ambulances have to have this type of a secure system inside of it because it fastens the cot into the truck better and holds it better in case of a crash. Holds it in better so it's more secure that way. The biggest thing is that the whole system saves our lifting on our employees for their backs, shoulders, whatever. We've got an employee that's been out since May on workman's comp from a lifting injury. Probably won't be back until at least February, possibly March. We've also had a couple of other employees that have had to go home on their shift because they sprained their back or twisted whatever when they were lifting. So hopefully this system will help relieve that. We recently, over Thanksgiving holidays, experienced a call of a bariatric patient that we had to go out. Another ambulance company was bringing the patient home. The patient weighed 610 pounds. They were able to get the patient into the home. Our department had to respond with 8 of us to help lift the cot, get it up into the house, and then to help get the patient into bed. Worst part about it, the next day he had to go back to the hospital again because of swelling and everything in the leg. So again, we had limited personnel to actually go out there and do it, so we were actually doing it with less people trying to lift the patient onto the cot, get him out, and then get him into the truck. When you're lifting the cot, you can usually use 6 to 8 people to help lift the cot to get that much weight to go up. But when you get ready to push it into the back of the ambulance, all the weight mainly is on those 2 guys at the end of the cot that are actually holding levers on it and holding it when you start pushing into the truck. There's no place to get all the extra manpower in there to help lift to get it into the truck. So we've researched everything through Stryker and got prices on it. Benefit that has come forward is the Stryker is redistricting their sales personnel, and they've pushed out a sales incentive for the rest of the year before they, have the salespeople move. The potential of savings that we have on there is with the cots, a total of $7,000 discount by purchasing the cots now before the end of the year, before they redistrict. And on the lift system, we can save $14,000 on the total lift system package before we do it. So all total, it's $34,747.30 each, times 4 rigs for a grand total of $138,989.20.
This was budgeted.
Yes, the cot purchase of it was budgeted for next year. The lift portion of it was not, and we'll be using that money out of fund balance to fund that portion of it.
I have a story that kind of relates to it. When I was doing construction work, I did some work on a funeral home, and when I was going through and doing the work, I saw a chain fall. And I asked, what in the world is that for? And he goes, well, when you get someone that's 400, 500, 600 pounds, you need assistance. And so I can relate to that. So
I move to authorize Fire Chief Peter Schultz to purchase 4 Stryker Power Pro XT powered ambulance cots and 4 Stryker Power Load powered fastener systems for the Oxford Fire Department at a total cost of $138,989.20. This $138,989.20 cost is to be expensed to account number 213-357-970.001, capital outlay in the 2018 Oxford Fire Department budget. Further, Fire Chief Peter Scholes and our Supervisor William Dunn are authorized to sign any necessary documents on behalf of the Oxford Fire Department.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any other questions? Roll call.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Durr.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Thank you, board members. One other note, the 4 cots that we currently have, there's a company from New York that buys them. They're giving us $1,500 each for them. And the $1,500 each that we get to them will pay for the installation of the power lift system that goes in the back of the truck. That's a separate cost that is above and beyond, and that's from a separate outside contractor that takes care of that. So that covers the cost of the installation. So thank you.
Any other questions for the fire department? Nothing else coming up? Move on to the unfinished business, 925 Legacy Center LLC liquor license. Gary, I'm going to throw this right at you.
Well, this, as you all may recall, there was an application made for a liquor license, and the board acted upon that application and approved that application. Subsequent to that time, some issues came up, and it was sent to our office, and we reviewed it, and we noted that the application had 2 defects in it. First, under your ordinance, the application must be made by the applicant. And in this case, it was not made by the applicant, but it was made by Mike Lind and by Christian Mills. Second, and more fundamental problem with it was at the request of the applicant, that the license was issued to Legacy Entertainment LLC. Legacy Entertainment LLC is a non-existent entity. The correct entity that should have been 920, sorry, let me back up. It was issued in 925 Legacy Entertainment LLC. The correct entity name would have been 925 The Pier Legacy Entertainment LLC. So essentially what happened was you approved a license for a non-existent entity. Following that, it was apparently discovered that they had done that, and legal counsel for 925 Seymour came into the clerk's office and asked that the advice, that the approval, the governmental approval, that gets sent up to the Michigan Liquor Control Commission, the name be changed to the correct name, 925 Seymour Legacy Entertainment LLC. Clerk Wright did that, made that change, and went up to Lansing to the LLC, and that the township then got notice back of the request that the applicant had made, and the applicant had made some requests in that statement which were inconsistent with the operating agreement, which was part of the original application, that caused some in the township concern. Most significant item was that there would be unlimited hours of operation, and there would be 2 bars instead of 1 bar being proposed, and there was going to be outside service. And there was concern about the impact on Stony Lake if there was outside service, particularly if it had an association with alcohol. The second problem is that, contrary to the applicant's legal counsel, and we're on the same wavelength now, Clerk Wright could not correct a board action by simply signing the governmental approval on a name that wasn't ever before this board. So we're at a point, and I prepared a draft resolution where my recommendation to you is that you rescind the prior approval for the reasons that are stated in the application, and you consider whether or not you want to entertain a new consideration of an application by 925 Seymour Legacy Entertainment LLC. If you do, you're going to need to have a new.
925 Lapeer, not Seymour.
I got me to it, 925 Pier Legacy Entertainment. If you,
We'll be back here again.
you will have to have another public hearing under your ordinance and start the process all over, basically.
I'd like to make a motion to adopt the following resolution. Whereas the Township Board previously approved at its meeting on November 8th, 2017, the issuance of a new Class C liquor license, 925 Legacy Entertainment LLC, based on the name provided by representatives of the applicant. And whereas the Township Board subsequently received from the Michigan Liquor Control Commission, MLCC, a notice dated November 20, 2017, MLCC notice regarding its license investigation with regard to the premise at 925 North Lapeer Road in Oxford Township for entity named 925 Lapeer Legacy Entertainment LLC. And the Township Board discovered that the application submitted to the Township, as well as the Township resolution on November 8, 2017, had by the name of a non-existent entity, 925 Legacy Entertainment LLC. And whereas the Township Board also discovered from the MLCC notice that permit applications other than a Class C liquor license were also pending before the MLCC for the premise at 925 North Lapeer Road in Oxford Township. Namely permits for unspecified hours for Sunday sales AM and Sunday sales PM, outdoor service, dance, entertainment extended hours, specifying all for dance and entertainment. And whereas all of the above pending ancillary permit applications to the MLCC sought for the premises at 925 North Lapeer Road will be in violation of the operating plan submitted for those premises other than Sunday hours, 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. as listed in the proposed operating plan. And whereas under Code Section 6-32, an operating plan is required to contain any other information necessary to fully inform the board of the nature of the use and planned activity to take place at the proposed licensed establishment. And whereas the applicant failed to disclose to the board any of these ancillary permit applications, the MLCC for activities that would violate its operating plan. Now therefore be resolved that the Township Board hereby rescinds its approval granted on November 8, 2017 for a new Class C liquor license for the following reasons. 1. The approval was granted to a non-existent entity, 925 Legacy Entertainment LLC, and hence such an action is a nullity. 2. The Township Board discovered after its resolution on November 8, 2017 that the applicant with regard to the premise at 925 North Lapeer Road in Oxford Township had applied to the MLCC several months earlier for ancillary permits for activities that would violate the terms of its operating plan while disclosing to the Township such permit applications. Be further resolved that the Township Board also rescinds an erroneously issued local government approval form dated November 20, 2017, because that form does not match the non-existent entity name provided by the applicant on their application documents with a non-existent entity in the November 8, 2017 resolution. Be further resolved that the Township Clerk is hereby authorized and directed to advise the Michigan Liquor Control Commission that the Township's November 8, 2017 resolution of approval of the Class C liquor license with the name 925 Legacy Entertainment LLC was a nullity and has been rescinded. The local government approval form dated November 20, 2017 with the name 925 Lapeer Legacy Entertainment LLC on it also rescinded as it was issued in error. It did not match the board's resolution or the name provided on the application documents to the Township.
Been moved,
Support.
supported. Christian, would you like a copy of this,
Sure.
please? I mean, it's kind of long. Joe, would you give that to the
I'll also
applicant?
give it to Kelly.
Oh.
Either one.
Is this the only one we have?
Okay,
No,
Commissioner
no,
Kelly.
Here you go, Christian. Is there any questions? Yes.
There was a punch list that was circulated. Is that to be addressed separately, or is it within?
I've got another motion coming after this.
Yeah, I mean, I had suggested to their legal counsel that what might be of some benefit tonight would be not to consider an application, because you can't. You've got to have that at a public hearing. Or perhaps putting out what are issues that are of concern to you that you'd like to see addressed in the application, specifically the operating agreement. The operating agreement is quite controlling, and what can happen in these situations are that while these applicants might be fine and you're okay with everything you're doing, they can sell that license in the business, and a new applicant can come in, and unless you've got a defined scope of what the operation is, that the new applicant can go off and do what they want to do.
Would you suggest that they come in prior to the next meeting, sit down and go over what we expect?
Well, that would be one thing, and I did, as Mr. Ray pointed out, I did do a punch list of things I had heard that were of concern that they ought to be in a position to address. So they've got that list, and I think it'd be fine if they want to come in and discuss it. That'd be fine.
I'd rather have it all discussed and okayed before the next meeting rather than go back and forth. Do you have a problem with that, Christian? State who you are.
Christian Mills, 925 Legacy Center. No, I don't have an issue with that.
Yes, Jack?
We know there's going to be another application made, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. If you're expeditiously trying to get it done, and I'm using a one-stop theory here, we know that it's going to be brought in. Can we go ahead and make a motion to schedule a public hearing now for the January meeting? Because you will have to get the application in and then make the application for a public hearing. It wouldn't be until
To
February.
expedite this.
So I'm just asking to, make it.
Second.
Joe, my other attorney, has
Okay.
got a suggestion that we go ahead and vote on the resolution first and then discuss anything else.
Okay.
Any other questions on the resolution? Let's do a roll call.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dare.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Do you have a motion, Jack, or?
I've got one. I'd like to make a motion before a new public hearing is scheduled for 925 for Pure Legacy LLC. These following five items are addressed. Any and all Oxford Township legal fees associated with the first liquor license request be reimbursed by Legacy before a new liquor license public hearing is held. There have been lots of communications back and forth on the first liquor license request. These invoices may not be covered by the existing trust agency account deposit. 2, a new updated written letter from Oakland County Water and Sewer Department, Mike Pilar, detailing whether any additional building uses, including those associated with the liquor license, will impact existing water and septic systems and to what extent. 3, a written status update on existing site plan deficiencies and all current and proposed building changes. See if any issues that were mandated to be addressed have been, i.e. parking, lighting, etc. 4, a public hearing to be held with the township notifying everyone by mail located within 300 feet of this new liquor license request. And 5, all the liquor license application punch list items to be addressed in writing by the township or in advance of said public hearing. This me personally, after receiving these items, I'd be willing to act on this.
Well, I'm going to, there's a motion, is there any support?
Support.
Well, there is support.
This is just the legwork to get done.
We can take care of the legwork at any meeting. And you can supply all of, Jack?
You mentioned 4 items, Joe, and a punch list. Is the 4 items a punch list, or do you have the punch list and those 4 items?
Oh, it's punch list and the 4 items. Because those ones that Gary had, I thought need to be addressed as well. There's a lot of issues so that we're not in the same spot.
Yeah.
And all this stuff's done, then we can vote yea or nay on the license. I don't want any questions on this preliminary stuff.
Let's do, any other questions? Roll call?
Trustee Dare.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
No.
Clerk Wright, no. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
No.
And Supervisor Dunn.
No. So we're going to get together, Kurt, or Christian, give me a call when you want to do it, and we'll give Gary, we'll put him on the phone, and we'll work out, I'll grab maybe Joe or Curtis Wright, and go over this and try to come up with something.
Okay.
Okay?
And the legal fees, does that mean we're paying those?
No, it doesn't mean we're paying them, but it will be addressed.
Because then those invoices start coming in pretty quick.
I think you can address all those items in committee.
All the stuff will be addressed. His 5, and that's part of that list.
Yeah, the punch list plus the 4.
All those things will be addressed.
Now, do we schedule a public hearing tonight based on that?
Is that your motion?
Yes.
to schedule a public hearing for the next,
Second.
Liquor control license.
what date would that be, Curtis, right?
That would be January 10th.
Would there be a motion to schedule a public hearing for January 10th, 2018? Is that your motion, Jack? Or, yeah,
I'll
Jack.
make a motion to schedule a public hearing for January 10th, 2018, to consider the liquor license application for 925 Lapeer Legacy Center LLC.
Margie, do you support?
I did.
Moved and supported. Yes.
What if your negotiations fail?
We'll return that to the board.
Okay, and disregard the, what you just approved. Okay,
The board will be informed. Roll call.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
No,
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dart.
No.
And Trustee Nichols.
no,
Moving on. Move on to Clear Lake. Yes.
Do you have a copy of the punch list?
There's 14 items on the punch list.
I do not have a copy as of
I
yet.
will get all those for you tomorrow.
It was sent to his legal counsel,
Okay.
but welcome to another copy.
He's got the list. Okay, moving on.
Thank you very much.
Cedar Long Lake Special Assessment.
Clerk Wright, yes, board members, this is the third of potentially 4 parts of the SAD for the Cedar Long and Tan Lake SAD. What you have in front of you tonight is the SAD roll that's been created by Oakland County Equalization, and also the purpose of the resolution is to approve the hearing for the January 10th meeting. As you look in the assessment roll, there's 150 properties that are affected in there, and there's the breakdown. I'm going fast, so I can't read it there, but that's the breakdown of what the rule is that's been created. For those that aren't aware of what the SAD looks like, this is the area. that
Curtis,
will
could
be-
you pull your mic in? Pull your mic up.
Can I hear that?
I can't hear you.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is the area that is being subject to being sprayed for aquatic weed control. And just to give you an idea going forward, we will have a public hearing on January 10th, and that is an opportunity for anybody to appear in person and submit any comments in writing to the clerk, myself, and that will give you the opportunity to appeal to the Michigan Tax Tribunal for any discrepancies you may have on the price you're being charged for the aquatic weed spraying. So with that, I will make a motion to approve resolution number 3, proposed special assessment roll for Cedar Lake, Long Lake, and Tan Lake, and scheduling a public hearing to implement an aquatic weed control special assessment district program for Cedar Lake, Long Lake, and Tan Lake, and schedule a public hearing for the Oxford Township Board of Trustees regular meeting on Wednesday, January 10, 2018 at 7:00 p.m. or soon thereafter at the Oxford Township Meeting Room, 300 Dunlap Road, Oxford, Michigan, to hear and to consider any written objections submitted by any interested persons with respect to the special assessment role.
So moved.
second.
Seconded by Ferrari. Any other questions?
Just one more thing. There will be letters sent out to all affected homeowners. They'll go out at the end of December, and you'll see the public hearing notice published 2 times in the Oxford Leader. The first time appearing on December 27th, the second time on January the 3rd. And that's a requirement by law.
Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Sale of portions of parcel blah, blah, blah to adjacent property owners. Treasurer Ferrari.
Board members, we discussed this last month. We pretty much had permission from the board, but I talked with Clerk Wright, he suggested we get formal ratification at this meeting. With that, I'll make the following motion. The Oxford Township Board of Trustees authorizes Treasurer Joseph G. Ferrari to split combined properties on North Baldwin Road in Elkview from Township-owned parcel P0418 100-061. It's now 063. The property combination spreadsheet to be attached to the meeting minutes as well. The purchase price survey reimbursement and ZBA fees for these properties is as follows. Parcel ID 04-18-100-035, owner Nicholas Walls, address 1648 North Baldwin. Negotiated purchase price $41.95, will pay for survey yes. 04-18-100-036, David Hinks, 1786 North Baldwin, $4,500, will pay for survey yes, will pay for ZBA fees yes. 04-18-100-037, Charles Halifax, 1770 North Baldwin, $7,000, will pay for survey yes. 04-18-100-038, Raymond Weir III, 1758 North Baldwin, $6,000, will pay for survey yes, will pay for ZBA fees yes. 04-18-100-060, Richard Rourke, 2531 Elkview, $2,800, pay for survey yes. And there's also two asterisks for 036 and 038, they're contingent upon ZBA approval.
These, it's been moved,
Second.
seconded. Joe, everybody's agreed to this?
Yes.
And they're in compliance?
Okay.
Any other township questions? Roll call?
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Trustee Dare?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Supervisor Dunn?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Okay, on to the new business. I believe the new business now is the FOIA. Gary, it's up to you.
Yes, this is an appeal of a FOIA request. We believe it stems back to Dr. Bruce Meyer's request, but it was filed by a different entity, which is fine. And Dr. Meyer raised two issues on appeal for the one, the failure of the township to identify why the search charge was unreasonably high as required by statute. And second, basis of appeal, requiring payment in full to release the documents rather than just a deposit of half of the total fee. I'll address the second part first, and that's a curious area because under the original statute, no longer in place, it required that the new deposit would have to be made before the records were released. Under the new statute, it does not require that. It's not clear, and we check the legislative history, they never really, it's more than likely that the language should not have been changed, but it was. And so it is now a fair argument or fair position to take that Dr. Meyer is correct, that only 50% of the deposit of the estimated cost needs to be posted, and you can't withhold the records if that 50% has been posted. Now, if there is a subsequent new FOIA request, and that balance of the 50% is not paid, the 100% isn't paid, then you can deny honoring the second FOIA request. But he is correct in saying that, and this is a conservative reading of the statute, that upon posting 50% of the cost, that the records have to be released, even though you haven't gotten the full cost back. The second, I'll address on his first point, and the statute says that you can only charge for the costs of search, examination, review, and deletion and separation of exempt from non-exempt information, only if the fee would result in an unreasonably high cost. There is no definition of what that is. What is an unreasonably high cost? So it would appear in this situation that it's likely not necessarily an unreasonably high cost. And the notion would be that because the township should be encouraged to fully cooperate on FOIA requests and make township records readily available to the parties, that you would err on the side that there were no unreasonably high costs here. The only case I could find on what is unreasonably high cost is if a request exceeded a number of, combination of a number, cost of a number of requests over time, and this would not have been the case. So it had been my suggestion, and then to now correct it, you have to go back and do a number of things, and by the time you have the administrative costs and our review of that, I have made the recommendation, because of the size of the original request, that you simply, this time around, simply waive any fee in this case, release the records, and then start to clean on the next time around on any other FOI request. So my recommendation would be, and you have the right under the, you have the right to, under the statute, to completely waive any fee.
So the motion should be to waive the fee with that FOIA?
Correct.
How would the new arrangement be set into place?
Well, we'd have to carve out what is examination, sorting, deleting exempt information, and that would be kept separately. Curtis has been asked to keep track, and I know he does, but keep track of all FOI requests, so that if you were to get a request that came in that looked like it might be unreasonably high and really burdensome on the township to comply, that then we could, Curtis and I could talk, and we could say whether or not we think maybe we ought to go forward on a reasonably high cost claim.
So there would be something in place after this freebie?
Correct.
Any questions from the township board? Township?
I'll make a motion to waive the fees associated with the October 23rd, 2017 FOIA request of Dr. Bruce Myers.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any other discussion? Yes.
The date is October 13th.
October 13th.
And then
Any support?
support.
Okay. Any other questions? Do a roll call. No.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Dur.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes.
Moving on to the safety paths, easements, appraisals.
Senate bill.
Oh, the Senate bill. Oh, that's me. What I'd like to do is, I'd like to take this off. I forgot to take it off the agenda. There's still more work to be done at the Senate level, and I'd like to bring it back when there's a lot more answers. So I apologize for not taking it off. On to the Seymour Lake Safety Path easements, appraisals. Treasurer Ferrari.
Board members, in front of you, the Safety Path Committee's been working at trying to get easements along Seymour Lake Road for quite a while now. We figured out, I was talking to a couple of homeowners, see if they would just deed over the property. Since they owned the center of the road, they weren't really favorable to that. So I figured we'd go out and get a couple appraisal bids, and then once we get these appraisers back, the Safety Path Committee meeting together for how we want to proceed with that. We still want to go with the $1. We want to at least have a fair figure to offer for the property. But you're actually taking the property from them. It's not like just an easement on the property. So,
Joe, I got a question. You said the Safety Path Committee had been looking at this for some time. So is this in front of us a recommendation from the Safety Path Committee?
no, they'll give the recommendation once we get the appraisal.
Then what are we doing here tonight?
The law authorizes the appraiser.
Did the Safety Path Committee authorize the appraiser?
No, they didn't authorize the appraiser. We're going to authorize that.
Does the Safety Path Committee have any problems?
No. No problem here.
None at this time.
I make a motion to authorize Safety Path Committee Chairman Joseph G. Ferrari to contract with Mark W. Sheppel and Associates, Inc. for a total of $3,600 to devise 60-foot right-of-way acquisition appraisals for 1675 Seymour Lake Road, 1711 Seymour Lake Road, 1757 Seymour Lake Road, and 1781 Seymour Lake Road. The funds are to expense from Safety Path Committee Fund for Easement Acquisition 297-852-971-001. Upon receiving these appraisals, Chairman Ferrari is authorized to work with the Oxford Township Safety Path Committee to negotiate an acceptable easement acquisition price for these 4 properties. Once these easement acquisition figures have been negotiated and obtained, Safety Path Committee will make a recommendation to the Township Board for final ratification.
Been moved.
Second.
Seconded. Any other questions? I'm going to be voting no, because I think the Safety Path Committee should meet more than once or 2 years, and not by internet. Roll call.
Supervisor Dunn.
No.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dart.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
No, for the same reason as Bill.
Let's move on to
No.
no to intergovernmental contract. Clerk Wright. This is for 4 years?
Well, that's to be determined, because there are other entities, we know nothing what they've done or what their concern is. So that's why I said the term of the agreement is unknown, and for anybody to provide any comments for this meeting on Wednesday. So I'm sure that the other municipalities have not seen this agreement for renewal.
I think so.
One item I want to point out, though, is on page 12, the address for the NODA location needs to change, and that's one item. I don't know, I haven't went over this agreement that well, as I did before. You see here that it says 720 James Hunt Drive, which was the old Crossroads for Youth address. So there might be other tweaks in the contract, I don't know, but once the other municipalities take a look, they might find other things as well, so.
It always scares me when you haven't gone over this thoroughly. I mean that in the nicest way. Because you find the darndest things in these contracts.
I talked to Chris about this earlier. I wouldn't want to extend this past the operating village, just like we would do with fire and
Well,
police.
That's my question.
that's
And is
next
it-
year.
Yeah, December 31st, 2019, I'd like to have as the end period.
That's, so
They
the
collected
the
18.
last one's 18
For
to
19.
fund 19. Jack, is your hand up?
Part of that was my question, but has this all been discussed at NODA committee?
No.
And
Oh, it hasn't been?
so then we should,
I wasn't at the last meeting.
Oh.
Yes, it was discussed.
Thank you. He was asking me that.
As far as you know, it wasn't.
First,
I was there.
good. All questions? Yes.
The millage for NODA is just a partial millage. Attorney Renfrock, because it's only partially funding NODA, can the agreement extend past the millage expiration? Because you technically, you can still operate without the millage. It might be in a reduced level.
Yeah, I mean, as long as there's funding, it'll extend, but if you don't.
We have been funding it for about roughly $80,000 per year without the millage. So I mean, that $80,000 could continue,
Yes,
but the millage portion,
yes, that's correct.
so again, they'd have to work at a reduced schedule.
For this next millage, I would like to say, because we've got NODA now up and running, I'd like to see them to become totally self-sufficient, not relying on general fund 40,000, 80,000.
Well, good luck.
Yeah, I'd rather have them, because most of them don't, all the other
So are you
communities
saying you
just-
want to increase the millage for NODA?
Sorry?
Are you saying you want to increase the millage for NODA?
So it's self-sufficient, because right now it's not. If we're supplementing, it's not self-sufficient.
Just, I know that there was a very hard time getting it to pass in Addison.
But Addison, I think, is all millage. I
Oh, I
think
know.
we're the only ones, I think, that contribute general.
Okay.
No, Orion Township is.
They can, how much do they contribute? I think they did,
110,000?
out of their general fund?
Yes.
So Addison's full millage?
I don't know. I'd have to look at it. We'll take a look at it. So where are we here?
Do we wait then for the others?
I move to approve the interlocal contracted services agreement between Addison, Orion, and Oxford Townships and the North Oakland Transportation Authority commencing January 1st, 2018 and expiring December 31st, 2022. And authorize Supervisor William Dunn to sign the agreement on behalf of the Charter Township of Oxford.
second,
Moved and seconded? Yes.
We just approved it for, would that be 5 years?
Was it-
8,
Should I say 21?
Well, this
I'd like to
existing
say 19.
contract, it's an 8-year agreement. It started in 2010.
2010 was the last signature.
What is the year that I should be saying?
try 25.
2025?
Yeah, that would be your 8 years if you're trying to match the existing contract.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It'd be 18, well, it's 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And 25 is 8 years.
25.
Yes, Joe?
Gary, in theory, could NODA technically say to us, Township, you committed to this contract, you've given 80,000 general fund, your millage failed, you must make up the rest?
I'd have to look at the contract, I have to look at the contract.
My fear is you could say no to say, because we're only 2 votes on that, to say, okay, Oxford, you committed to it, you're going to pay it even though your millage failed. That's the whole reason why we didn't do the whole OESA.
We're
back.
paying, whether we had a millage or not, we've been paying.
Just the 80,000, not the other balance, at the .21 mills bring. I don't want NODA to say to Oxford,
You'd
you
have
gotta
to
pay
look
the
at
whole
the
thing.
contract.
That's why I want to take a look at that.
Yes, Kurt.
Should we reserve the right to re-examine the contract if the other municipalities are not in agreement with our motion?
Let's start with the contract and see what your rights are.
See what they are, and we can either sign it or not.
Right.
Okay. Roll call.
Curtis is
Oh, sorry, Kurt.
Meaning you'll have NOTA bring back an
Yep.
agreement
Yep.
for ratification.
Yes.
So this motion here is
It's just approving it.
Well, we want to look at the existing contract that's in place now and see whether you have any obligations to continue or whatever your obligations are and what are your rights in terms of,
Is there a way we can give them, I'm trying to think of the term, conceptual approval? Something, I mean, contingent upon what we see back from their, from NODA?
sure, as long as it's not binding. Yeah, you say, you know.
Conceptually, we agree with the contract, but we'd like to
we need
see
do
the final product.
review. We could do that.
The contract is actually your instrument anyway, so you're binding to the contract.
So I'd just like to kind of take a step back on this and take a look what our rights are. Like I said, if NODA says, sorry guys, you contributed 200,000.
So would somebody like to withdraw their motion? Would somebody like to,
So you want me to withdraw?
I don't want you to do it, I want you to do what you
Oh,
want.
yeah, I can withdraw it. You want to,
We'll come back with more information.
okay.
You know, we'll take these concerns to the NODA board and then just say, the board wants to do this, but we need more information.
Okay, what more information does the board need?
What the other communities want.
Mine,
We don't know.
I know what yours is. Yours is the millage thing. I understand that. I don't agree with you. I think that the township is good for 80,000 for the next 8 years. And if they have to reduce their services, they reduce their services. Because that's what the residents wanted by voting down the millage. If they vote down the millage, it's,
but
but
then, aren't you good NODA come back in front of us and say, you promise you give us a level of, whatever, our 205,000. You make the difference between 80 and the 205.
it,
They didn't do it to Addison. They let Addison walk.
yeah.
Maybe they'd be nice enough to, I don't know if they'd be as nice to us.
For lack of opinion.
I want to be clear, when I go to the NODA meeting, I want to be clear what kind of information we're looking for, that this board needs before we, ask them anything and come back with anything.
Yes, Kurt.
Just for the record, I need trustee Curtis to retract his second.
Did you retract your second?
Yes, I retract my second. I was wondering, could we table this, make a motion to table this until we determine what our contractual agreements are made above and beyond the millage support?
Exactly.
Is that your motion?
Yes.
I'll second that.
In support? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You had your hand up? Go raise your hand.
Yeah, that will be for our February meeting because you won't meet in January until after we meet.
Right?
Correct.
And you'll be operating under an expired.
Yes.
Well, we've done it before. It never stopped us.
That is true.
Cemetery maintenance contract, I'd like to say something. I don't know if all the township board realizes what we've lost. Brian Durden, who's been our sexton, taking care of our cemeteries for the last 18 years. What a job he's done. I can say that if you have to deal with someone that has got a problem with a cemetery plot or whatever, it's not only a complaint, but it's a complaint that's got a little extra feeling with it. It is not a pleasant thing. Through the years, Brian Durden has saved us. He's kept those cemeteries spotless. And I know when Curtis Wright came in 2008, I told him, you know, since he's in charge of the cemeteries, you're not going to believe the job that this young man does. He's out there 8 months a year, 80 hours a week. And, you know, of course, he gets a couple months off in the winter. But still, you know, your body needs to, you know, to rejuvenate after mowing around 27 acres of headstones and
the leaves.
And branches, and never a complaint. He treated those cemeteries like they were his. Curtis, do you have anything to say about Brian?
You know what, you're totally right when you said that, because the only comments that come to my office about him was how good of a job he was doing and how pristine the cemeteries looked, and it's just amazing that he can do 27 acres all by himself, but in a sense I think that's the way he liked it, because he knew that he would get it done the way he wanted, and he's made my life a lot easier along the way, so.
I too.
Yeah, I can't just say enough about what Brian's done for us, the township and the people that.
Well, he has moved on. He's now an employee of the Parks and Rec. I know he's gonna do a wonderful job there. I just want to let the board know, get ready for some sticker shock when we go out for bids. It's going to be enlightening. It's going to be terrible. I think you could triple what we're paying, possibly quadruple. So I guess what we're asking, what would the board like us to do? Go out for bids?
Do we have a description as far as?
Yes, we do.
We got a sample
Okay.
contract.
We have a sample contract.
Okay.
We have everything ready to go. It's just that we're not really a committee. Myself and Curtis kind of oversee what happens at the cemeteries. And we wanted to make sure the board,
I think our committee.
well, we're kind of an informal committee. We just make problems go away with, if they ever come up, if there's branches down or roads out, whatever. So the board would like us to go out for more bids. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
it's noted. Speaking of cemeteries, cremation burial fees, Clerk Wright.
Yes, board members, this issue arose because we had a family that came in and wanted to bury 2 cremains in 1 urn, and that was okay until they indicated there was already a burial in the grave. So what I indicated to them, the only way that can be accomplished is to buy another grave. And so that led to another issue with the cremains in 1 urn, whether or not to charge for 2 burials or 1 burial. So based on that, I provided information to you to decide which way you'd like to do the charges, but I did contact Genesee Valley Vault. They indicated that they would only charge for 1 cremain burial. There's 2 in the urn itself, or container. So with that, I created a resolution to address that issue. And it's just a quick
Question.
Yeah, Jack.
The reason is so that future identification of who's buried in what plot, correct?
yes, that, and also so that we don't have multiple cremains in 1 urn, so they can be identified, and also have a record in the township.
I move to approve the resolution to amend Appendix A of the Oxford Township Cemetery Ordinance 121 as presented.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any other questions? Roll call.
Trustee Durr,
Yes.
Trustee Curtis,
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari,
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn,
Yes.
Trustee Payne,
Yes.
and Clerk Wright, yes.
On to no hazard agreement.
I move to accept the 2018 North Oakland County Household Hazardous Waste interlocal agreement between Oakland County and the Territory Township of Oxford as presented. Authorize Supervisor William Dunn to sign the agreement.
Moved. There's support down there?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Trustee Nichols. Any other questions? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I move that the Charter Township of Oxford shall notify Oakland County that it will not charge a $10 participation fee per resident. The cost for participation shall be paid by the Charter Township of Oxford.
Support.
Moved and supported. Everybody understand? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I move to approve the North Oakland Household Hazardous Waste Consortium resolution as presented. Hereby appoint Joseph G. Ferrari, treasurer, as the official representative, and Patty Durr, trustee, as the alternate for the Charter Township of Oxford to the No-Haz Advisory Board for 2018.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any other questions? Roll call. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Under the budget amendments, this is all cleanup work for the end of the year, so we don't get in trouble with the state.
They're not on the motion. There is.
Okay.
On the screen.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2017 amended general fund budget 101 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $3,684,917 and attach the spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Is that supposed to be roll call? Or just much?
We'll do roll call.
That's what we're doing.
Madam Chair, Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Durr.
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Another thing we want to note, guys, just for general fund, so for 2017, our fund balance is only at 29%. So hopefully 18 will kind of take care of the whole outview thing and get our fund balance up.
That's the reason it's 28, because of LP.
That's true. I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2017 amended road fund budget 204 with the revenues and expenditures balancing at $591,151. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
Moved and supported. Any questions? Roll call.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Durr.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
And Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2017 amended police contracting fund budget 205 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $2,738,644. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Been moved,
Second.
seconded. Questions? Roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Durr.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2017 amended cemetery maintenance fund budget 209 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $85,122. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Support.
Moved and supported.
Question.
Yes.
Did we take into consideration in that expenditure for next year the possible increase in the cost of the maintenance?
No.
Yeah, those monies come out of general fund.
Okay,
And that's an 18 thing. They're just 17.
thank you.
Where are we?
Vote on the
Roll call.
cemetery.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Durr.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes. Oh, Gary,
Yes.
you can leave. I'm sorry for letting you sit over there.
Make a motion to approve the 2017 amended telecommunication fund budget 239 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $27,042. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any other questions? Roll call.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Payne.
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Durr.
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2017 amended safety path fund budget 297 with revenues and expenditures balancing at $148,496. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Questions? Roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari.
Yes.
Trustee Curtis.
Yes.
Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Trustee Durr.
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
I move to wish everyone a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Support.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2017 amended building and site fund budget 471 with the revenues and expenditures balancing at $710,123. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Support.
Moved and supported. Questions? Roll call.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Trustee Dare?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes, and Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2017 amended building permit fund budget 295 with the revenues and expenditures balancing at 597,501. Attach a spreadsheet as appendix to the minutes.
Support.
Moved and supported. Roll call.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Trustee Dare?
Yes.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
I don't think I missed anything.
You're good.
Okay.
Moving on. Appointment to the Planning Commission. I move to reappoint John Nold. Is there any motion?
For a 3-year term,
Yes.
commencing January 1.
Why don't you do a motion, John?
Commencing January 1, 2018, expiring December 31st, 2020.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. We'll do a roll call.
That would be Treasurer Ferrari's motion.
No, Supervisor Denise, help him fill it out.
Oh, I have to make the motion. That's right.
Planning Commission appointment.
That's my motion. And we've got support. Thanks, Joe. Roll call.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Nichols?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Trustee Dare?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Planning and Development Committee appointments, Supervisor Dunn. Hold a sec. Okay.
I move to appoint the following officials to the Planning and Development Committee. Supervisor William Dunn, the term expiring November 20, 2020. Trustee Jack Curtis, the term expiring November 20, 2020. Planning Commissioner Jonathan Knoll, the term expiring December 31st, 2020. Planning Commission Chairperson, and the Oxford Township Zoning Official.
It's been moved? It's been moved?
Second.
Seconded? Yes.
That second was by Trustee Nichols.
Oh.
Trustee Nichols. Roll call.
Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
Yes.
Clerk Wright, yes. Trustee Dare?
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Township Board meeting dates.
I move to adopt the proposed 2018 Charter Township of Oxford Board of Trustees regular meeting schedule as presented.
Been moved?
Support.
Good support. I see November 14th is a meeting date. I will not make it. That is time for my vacation.
You don't think that day?
I'm feeling sick.
What about Valentine's Day, Bill?
No, Valentine's Day I can make it. Roll call.
Roll call. Clerk Wright, no. Trustee Curtis?
Yes.
Trustee Payne?
Yes.
Treasurer Ferrari?
Yes.
Supervisor Dunn.
No.
Trustee Dare?
Yes.
And Trustee Nichols.
Yes.
Nobody wanted November 14th.
That's right. They felt sorry for me. Items removed. Have none. Public comment. Public comment. Yes.
I'll pass these out. I'm one short, so you get mine afterwards. Thank you.
We'll share.
You get my copy
I'll share.
afterwards.
I'll
It's
share.
the large print version for us old people.
That's the one I need.
Two items. First one, I'd like to thank you for waiving the fees for, I'm sorry, Bruce Myers, Delano, Oxford Township. I'd like to thank you for waiving the fee for the FOIA. I think a lot of that could be avoided to begin with because I had 6 items on the request. 3 of them are minutes for a planning commission meeting. One of them is basically copies of posted notices of committee and subcommittee meetings for the last 30 days. And one was, there's a number of people that require or request to be notified of meetings. And in the 60 days prior to I sent this, I had received one notice, so I was just wondering if I was missing any. So one of my requests was copies of the notices that were sent out. So that's really not an unreasonable request, so. And minutes should be up to date on the website, so I think the website has some issue, and that would have avoided a whole lot of this in terms of the committee meetings. Moving around along, I have a concern that I have, and that I have a complaint form from dated 10/24/17, and the reporting party has not had any response yet. And this goes back to the original issue, which is an illegal lot split on Barber and Davidson Lake Road. The lot split came up, and there was evidently some concerns at the time stated about how it did not meet the ordinance requirements. Yet it ended up being approved. It does not meet the requirements for size, nor does it meet the requirements for width. It appears to be signed off on by the deputy supervisor, but I can't find any minutes, agenda, or anything showing who was responsible for this. So we as citizens are told conflicting information as who has the authority as a zoning administrator. The question I have is, who is the designated zoning administrator? Do we have one? Now, with this lot, by my calculations, the minimums are supposed to be 20 acres net, yet this approval lot appears to be 18.3 acres, based on my calculations. The width must be 600 feet, and this lot is nowhere close to being 600 feet wide. So this is a lot split that is illegal and never should have been done, and I want to know how this is going to be remedied. This has caused a situation to be compounded because there's attempting, by attempting to divide the illegal lot and put in a private road. The first attempt was done after violating law and not having the required public hearing. Then at another planning meeting, after a lot of discussion, I remember that approval for the road would be given only after all the other requirements had been met, including DEQ, the Pierre County Road Commission, and so forth. But I don't remember a blanket approval being done at the planning commission meeting, yet within 24 hours, there were lot splits approved based on the road being in place. There is no road. Right now, the property is on the DEQ facility site maps as being a registered contaminated facility. And there's no way approval should be given for anything until that issue is resolved. So now there's approval for a lot split without any notice, minutes, anything, after many of the residents, including myself, clearly requested to be notified if any requests came in. Who is the designated zoning administrator that approved this without the requirements being met and without proper notification to the requesting citizens? Then you look at the odd-shaped lots in this new splits, and I don't believe these lots meet the legal requirements either. There's some very odd splits there. This is now compounding the original illegal lot split. So I don't see where there was any application, approval, or supervision of the removal of the asbestos either. That was with the renovation of the house heads on Barber that's on these lots. I see many dumpsters that were full of what appear to be debris from substantial construction and demolition within the home. And the question I have is, do we have an ordinance officer? At this time, it appears the deputy supervisor is pushing some sort of personal agenda, stating that we are being mean or unfair to the applicant. What about the citizens of the community? We are deprived of public hearings. We have not received the required notices of meetings, agendas, minutes, and with all the downright errors being committed to the point of being illegal, we want to be able to observe the process from outside the machine to make sure that the laws and ordinances are being followed. We have a supervisor that lives in the community, but the deputy supervisor does not, therefore does not have a stake in the future of the community, and she seems to be the one that's circumventing the requirements and not following proper procedure. We need to address the approved uses, moving on to a different subject here, we need to address the approved uses in the zoning ordinance to try to protect the future of what is being said by the community as the northeast area of the horse country. And it really does need to be protected. Can we prioritize this approved uses list in order so that we're not living next to a compost facility or a university or an institution? Will you help us in preserving this area and making our ordinances match that our master plan promises? And parts of this are brought up in the planning commission. We had the police called in, even though there was nothing that was being rowdy or even raised voices. just that we as a community had a different opinion than the deputy supervisor. Then we had the Oxford Township supervisor show up at a meeting of the planning commission, officially representing the township, dictating how the planning commission works and acts and so forth. I'm offended that many of my quotes that I've used at the meetings were used as a weapon, yet the quotes are not accurate. This behavior is harmful to everyone and does not help us do what we all desire, and that is to keep this a great community. If the minutes were more descriptive and accurate, we would be having a better understanding of what's happening and prevent problems in the future. I wouldn't have had to send the FOIA in. I asked every member of this board if Supervisor Dunn had been officially given permission to represent the board as he did at the Planning Commission, but I was only referred to the minutes, which don't exist yet, but which are not online as they're supposed to be. So either he was given permission or he was not. It's a simple question. I never did get an answer. It sure would be nice to have timely posting of the minutes, agendas, and information on the website for the board as well as Planning Commission, the ZBA, lot split, and so forth. Now, my statements, when I have seen them in the minutes, are completely inaccurate. I've even handed in a copy of my statements to be included, and they aren't. So who is the designated lot split official? Can the public be notified of meetings, receive copies of agendas, and be able to access minutes? How are you going to remedy the illegal lot split that has now been compounded? This is a problem. I would suggest that we please invest in a well-trained and competent zoning administrator who is available full-time at the township. Our planner is great, but as a consultant, he cannot perform the day-to-day role of zoning administrator. We need a person at the township as well. This is a critical position, and the community deserves to have a person who can provide proper guidance and can understand and follow the ordinance. We also need the ordinances to be up to date, and many of them can be updated easily by accessing the State of Michigan site. They've got a lot of this written out that you can just take, cut and paste. Thank you.
Board of Trustee comments, Jack?
I have none, thank you.
Margie?
Merry Christmas to all.
New Year, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
Saying Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. One other thing, the Parks and Rec is having a blood drive on Wednesday, January 10th. Blood drive. It's the 10th of January.
Ed?
And just a Merry Christmas to everybody.
My wife bakes some Christmas cookies, and anybody that wants cookie, help yourself.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved, seconded, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?